Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode is another nice historical snapshot sort of episode. I've gone into the archives of the internet, namely recarts.anime, and found an old document. And so I'm going to go over my old fan subbing list, okay, with you, and go and basically explain some of the things that are in this list. And just to give you an indication that it really is a snapshot of what it was like in the year 1996. Okay, so it gives you a good idea of what's going on and what the fan, scene in anime is like during this time. Okay, so before we begin, again, I want to remind everyone to go down below, click like and click subscribe, because obviously that helps the YouTube algorithm. Okay. And I also like to thank all the people on the PayPal and the Patreon. I just started up, last week, and very good response, very positive response to that. Again, there's a whole bunch of episodes and things available to the subscribers that I've put into the links below. You can have a look at, of course, my entire catalog of episodes as well as the subscriber-specific episodes. Okay, links all below. Have a look at those. All right. So, in today's episode, I am going to go over my latest a fan subbing list. Okay, so basically, there was these lists or things of anime that was available that we would basically freely distribute and send and trade to each other on VHS tapes. Okay, and that's how we basically spread the word of anime. Okay. And this particular list I dug out of the archives from recarts.anime, the internet use group. Okay, and again, at this time, we're very, very early. Okay, in 1995, right? So this is 96. So the internet is still nothing like we have it today, right? It's still primarily news groups and things like that. So it's not the same sort of beast as it is today. So information was really tough to get, and so one of the things that we had is these FAQs and these lists that help people find and get the things that they're looking for. And in this case, I made a list of all the different sort of fan sub videos that we had. So I'm going to go through this list with you and sort of give you an idea of what we're working on and just the significance of something else, because I realize that if you just found this list and you kind of looked at it going, oh, okay, it's a list of different titles and that kind of stuff, that's it, okay? You don't know the story, and you don't know the significance and the work that has gone into this particular list, and the thinking and that kind of stuff that was and the processes that has gone on for this particular list. So I'm going to go through that with you and kind of help illustrate that by showing you this list and going through all the different titles on it. Okay, so let's pull up the list and let's begin. Okay, so the first thing I see on this list, obviously, is the date, and it's October 1st, 1996. So I'm going to sort of hash the history just a little bit for you. So you think Windows 95, right? So that's when the new release of the Microsoft Windows environment. And so this is 1996, so this is more or less a year after that. So you can kind of imagine the internet and the browsing of the internet is not really anywhere close to what it is today. It's pretty new and pretty, raw, as it were, right? So there isn't a lot of things like websites. There's no Google and nothing else, so you can't find anything using a search engine like that. We don't have all these modern browsers. A lot of the browsers are, of course, what's sort of like Internet Explorer that's built into Windows 95. There's, of course, things like Netscape Navigator. Things like that, of course, are kind of floating around. But for the most part, it's a very, very simple sort of information-based sort of thing. And again, 1986, we began fan subbing around 1990. Okay, as shown in some of the previous videos, and of course, you saw pictures of my room, what it looked like in 1993, 93, 94. So you can kind of imagine just a little bit more has progressed on. And sort of more laser discs and more fan subbing has sort of been done, and this is sort of my sort of an updated list of what's sort of going on in 1996. Okay, so again, if you're an anime fan and you're one of these people that just doesn't know where to get anime and that kind of stuff, but you just heard of this. Maybe you're going to, you're a university student or something like that, or you work for a government installation like, the IRS or NASA or something like that, and you're interested in anime, but you just don't know where to get it. Like, there's no resources or anything like that. Maybe you might have saw an article in a magazine or something, or maybe there's a local club in your area, but maybe you live in a more remote area and you don't have access to this kind of stuff. Well, then how do you find information? So what we did is we made all these FAQs, or frequently asked questions, and we put them out onto the news groups, Records.anime and that kind of stuff, and we sent copies of this to all the different fan groups that we knew, and made this information available to all the fanzines and that kind of stuff. Just telling people, hey, we're fan subbing all these different things. If anyone's interested, here's your the list, and here's maybe like a kind of a free like instructions on how to get this kind of stuff, and we sent those all around as well, and try to make this most available as possible so people can run across this. So at this time, let's say you ran across this and said, oh well, like I'm new at anime, I don't really know any of these titles. And then you look at this big long list and say, wow, there's like a lot of stuff that's available. And at this time, virtually nobody had like this much English content available. Like, sure, some people had trading lists and that kind of stuff, and sure they got a couple videos of this or that or whatever. But no one would have like entire series of anime available. In subtitles. I mean, that was very, very rare, and this is very, very exciting time. You also got to realize that a lot of the commercial companies, at this time, are nowhere near this kind of release time. I'll get into a little bit more about that as we get into it. But if you kind of go back and look at the previous history of like things like VHS tapes on that was released in North America, a lot of these companies like U.S. Renditions and Amiego and AD Visions, they didn't release their stuff until like 1992, 93, and even then it was very limited titles. Amiego was just started coming out with Vampire Princess Mew, Bubblegum Crisis and that kind of stuff in 92, 93, right? So, not a lot of stuff right now. Obviously, Viz is getting into it and starting to release some things. They're just starting to get things like Ranma and of course a little bit later Maison Ikaku and things like that as well. U.S. Renditions, of course, doing their Dangai-O, and Ixer One and all that kind of stuff. So those titles kind of Streamline is doing things like Vampire Hunter D. They're doing all the Robotech stuff, obviously. Captain Hawk and the Queen of Thousand Years. That kind of stuff was what they were doing over there. But again, this is just very, very rudimentary kind of stuff, right? And so let's go through some of the other information that we go down as we go down the list here. Okay, so continuing down the list here, you also see some of the resources that are available with this list. So again, I have listed our bulletin board system. So again, because the internet is still relatively new, one of the things that we have made available is our own BBS bulletin board system. So if you had an acoustic modem, you could actually call up that telephone number, and I had a computer set up that would answer the phone and basically hook up to a computer bulletin board system, and that basically had messages and also some FAQs, and of course the same sort of list that you see here available, so that people can then talk about anime and also of course get more information about anime. I actually even listed my own personal telephone number. Don't bother calling it because it doesn't work. So, and I also have my email address. This is an email address supplied by Helix, Vancouver Jasper Animation Society at helix.net. Helix was basically the FidoNet hub that worked off of our prototype generation BBS. and they supplied me with a email address that worked on the internet, so that I could actually receive emails and that kind of stuff. Um, that worked for a while, and then of course, when things started changing and we started trying to get more standardized email addresses and that kind of stuff, that obviously didn't use that much anymore. So a lot of confusion and that kind of stuff happened when when I changed over with that. But yeah, so that's another sort of way to reach it. And then below that is a list of all these different websites that you can go to. Again, the internet's really, really new, right? So here's a bunch of links and that kind of stuff to websites. These things are so old that even things like the Wayback Machine doesn't have snapshots of any of these websites. Right? That's just that old. But yeah, so here again, if you're interested in getting more information, or you just need copies of this particular list or something like that for yourself, these are links and information things that are available from different sort of sites and people that are volunteered to host information, right? And the neat thing about this is that none of these are like commercial sites. These are all, like I said, like literally sites provided by internet providers. So, for example, if you had a Shaw cable, or let's say Comcast internet, this would be one of these sort of email addresses they give you for free, or websites or web space that they give you for free at being a customer or a subscriber of their service, right? So it'd be like, members at shaw.ca or something like that, or members.comcast.com or something like that. So, and then slash whatever your address would be, right? So, again, it's really, really rudimentary kind of stuff, okay? All right, so you see the next section is just some basic instructions, right? It goes units. One tape is equal to a T120 tape, which is 120 minutes on SP speed. Okay, so, for the basic way that I've laid all the tapes is it's standard VHS tape, 120 minutes, 2 hours, right? Sure, there is that 4-hour speed and 6-hour speed, so then I might be able to use the timer and then basically put 2 or 3 of these tapes onto your one tape, just recording at a slower speed. But in order to preserve quality and whatnot, all my tapes are recorded at the 2-hour speed. Okay. And so each of the tapes that are listed below are in the 2-hour format, okay? Because it makes it easy, right? I stick in my master tape, I stick in the blank tape, play, record, and then just let it sit there for 2 hours and let it record. So that's, makes it easy for me, right? Dubbing requests are filled by using the entire tape, right? So I'm not going to, say if you're just interested in one OVA or something, and it's like the second OVA on the tape. Well, I'm not going to go and try to fast forward and try to figure that point out and then record it for you. I'm going to say, okay, everything on this one tape, I'm just going to copy onto your tape, and there you go. As for that reason, there's no mixing and matching, so I'm not going to, say, just only put this OVA or only put that OVA. Let's see. And then to supplement that, of course, I said there's going to be no limits on the number of tapes that you can request. So to get away from that, let's say you wanted only one item off of this tape and then another item off of this other tape, instead of trying to put it all into one tape, I was going to say, well, don't worry, I'm not going to limit you to one tape. You can get 2 tapes, and I'll just copy everything on this one tape onto your first tape, and everything on the second tape onto your second tape, and then you don't have to worry about trying to squeeze as much stuff onto the one tape, right? Just keep it simple like that, right? And sometimes there were some pretty large orders. I mean, I had people, doing full cases of 10 tapes because it's easy, right? When you go to the store and you buy, video cassettes, they usually come in blocks of 10. So some people just say, well, yeah, it's just, just buy a whole case of 10 tapes and do it. Some people did like full series. So, for example, Orange Road was 12 tapes long to do all 48 episodes. So they just say, yeah, I'll just do the entire block of, 48 episodes or 12 tapes to do the whole block. And, just because it was easier to do the money orders and that kind of stuff, right? So, there again, I didn't have, restrictive, limits. But, of course, it did take time to do, all right? And the last one is that I said that the contents of the tapes can change when the master tapes were changed. As I said, so sometimes if I remaster a tape or maybe maybe I'll redo a copy so that it make it a little bit better. Sometimes the other things on the tape or whatever, or something to fill the rest of the tape may change. Like that usually only happens to the OEVAs. It doesn't really happen to the TV shows. Stuff gets licensed, that kind of stuff. It may change. So pretty simple. Okay, so now let's go down and let's talk about all the titles. Okay, and let's give you an idea of where we are in the anime world when we talk about these titles. Okay, so right off the top of the list is our flagship, thing that brought us to all the fame, is my fan subbing of Kimiko Orange Road. Okay, that's the very first thing that we ever fan subbed. We did this back in 1990. Okay, so this is 1996. So that's like 6 years ago. Okay, we did this, and it's still available. Anime did not release the TV series for Orange Road until 1998. So 2 years from now, they will start releasing episodes of the Orange Road TV series. So that's why we still have it on our fan subbing list. However, they did start by doing the Mugitate OAVAs, and that's why it's not on the list. Okay, so you just could go down. There's all the 12 tapes of Orange Road that we did. We have also the Orange Road Music Edition, which is the music videos, and we also have the Jump Special. Okay, again, they only did the Mugitate OVAs. They didn't do the Jump, that special short Jump Special OVA. So that's why it's still available on the list. Okay. But yeah, it's just an indication that here we are. We are still a faster and farther ahead than the subtitling companies, because the subtitling companies haven't caught up to us yet. When it comes out, which is like in '98 when it did come out, we did take it off the list finally. But again, it took them that long for them to finally do it. And again, a lot of people did still pick up the Anime version, because obviously it sold pretty well. Again, they're looking for better quality, and eventually they released Laserdiscs, and eventually they released DVDs and that kind of stuff for it. So, it's good to see that we all supported Aniego when they made this. Okay, so going down the list, we also have Gundam Char's Counterattack. Again, it wasn't until Bandai, washed up on the shores over here in the 2000s before they started getting that one out. So that we're ahead of that one. We did Gundam 0080, which War in the Pocket, and Gundam 083, which is another really popular series, for Gundam OVAs. You may also notice that on the Gundam tape, we also snuck in the Maison Ikkaku OVA. Again, at this time, you may notice that Maison Ikkaku is not on the list, because that's the second thing that we actually fan subbed is Maison Ikkaku. But Maison Ikkaku is not on the list because Viz Media, started releasing Maison Ikkaku on VHS tapes. So we've already removed the entire TV series from Maison Ikkaku, but no mention of whether or not they're going to do the OVAs. So the OVA still remains on our fan sub list. And then as such, you can see now further down we have Maison Ikkaku, the Music Parade, which is the karaoke version Maison Ikkaku. So it was a laser disc that basically had a lot of the songs of Maison Ikkaku in karaoke. So we also fan subbed the Maison Ikkaku live action movie as one of the and that one was a little strange, but it was hilarious doing that one. It was really fun. Again, does get a lot of fun doing that one. Again, no commercial licenses were on that one, so we of course added it onto the list there. Okay. Going down further down the list, we have a lot of City Hunter. Now, again, AD Vision eventually did City Hunter, in the 2000s, right? So again, even though that City Hunter was released, back in, 87, okay, we didn't start fan subbing these ones until the early 1990s, right? And then, so even by 1996, we didn't do every single episode. So that's why I was happy when AD Vision, finally released, City Hunter on DVD, because then finally all those episodes that we never really did, but I was interested in, they did all the translation and did all that stuff for us, so, which is just, that was great. I mean, that was a very, very worthwhile purchase, that one there. So here it is, some of my sort of more favorite episodes. Of course, some of the ones that Dicey really loved, especially with the wacky episodes with Yumi Bozu, those ones are really nice, and some of the really dramatic episodes. The Sarah episodes, Black Army ones. Those ones were really enjoyable. So as you see, various assortment of City Hunter episodes from the OAVAs, the movies, City Hunter 1, 2, and 3, 91. Okay, all sort of mixed into a tape, but various episodes of that all sort of put down in for a different variety of City Hunter episodes, and they were very, very popular as well. You may also look right at the very bottom of the list. There's the City Hunter Jackie Chan movie. So again, that was another one of those, really funny City Hunters that we actually got into, and we saw that, yay, Jackie Chan is making a live action kind of make on City Hunter. I was thinking, it's done by Jackie Chan, right? So I thought, oh yeah. So when that came out, we got the LD and we subtitled that one. And we had a lot of fun doing that one. I remember we spent a lot of time really fussing over that. It was near the end of the movie. There's a music video where they're on the cruise ship and they're doing the Gala Gala Happy song, which is again another very famous Japanese song, but they remade it into in the Chinese. It was done by a band named Soft Hard. And it was really strange because, as I said, we took a lot of time playing that song over and over again. And I remember going over with Warren and a few of the other people that spoke Cantonese, trying to go through that, very carefully, trying to go over line by line, trying to figure out what all the lyrics were for the song. And eventually, when they actually released the commercial release version of the Jackie Chan Center movie, they didn't actually put subtitles on that song. It was just really strange because they're bashing like New Kids on the Block and and other things like that, right? So we actually had to do the subtitles now. So that was a fun one to do, and that is actually on the list too as well. So that was really kind of cool. And so this is this is actually longer than I expected, actually, because I said I'm already hitting the 20-minute mark. So it looks like I'm going to have to make a part 2 to this. So definitely go down below and click like and click subscribe. And make sure you get your notifications turned on, because I said I'm going to have to make a part 2 to this to continue on with this list because it's getting so long. So do definitely stay tuned. All right. I hope you found that really quite interesting, and again, quite sort of hopefully help you fill in your mind what the environment and what the scene was like for anime back in the 1996. Okay, so again, if you have to go down below and you can click other episodes and that's related to fan subbing and whatnot, and the anime, what it was like back in the days, including pictures of a room and whatnot. Link is down below for the list of episodes. Okay, so until next time. See you again.